Well, Emily, if it's only us, we are,
Nope, Harry's here now. I was gonna say, I don't think it's gonna be.
we were going to tell you that we're fine with an abbreviated system. If you want to head to the airport fastest, we're okay with it.
I am gonna be scooting out right at the end, but yeah, Josh booked flights for us tonight. Yeah, so.
What are we gonna do without you guys?
We'll be back before you even know it. Yeah, we'll be back either Sunday or Monday. So I'll be here Tuesday, don't you guys worry.
He was kind of hinting at something like that today.
Yeah, well, we kept trying to look for flights and then.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
Oh, me too.
Yes, I was letting them know we're gonna do hamstrings today. So all the props. Okay. Right. Oh, good. Not as tight as on Tuesday.
Oh, man.
We've gotten the week to work ourselves up a little bit tonight.
I have class too, so that helps.
Yeah. Well, let's close the eyes. Place one hand on our chest. Oh yeah, don't lose your glasses. No worries. I know. So with one hand on our chest, we're going to place the other hand on our bellies. And as we inhale and exhale, we're going to slow the breath. Take a few deep breaths as you would naturally, and see where the air goes. Notice if you're a chest breather or a stomach breather, see what moves more. And now we're going to be a little more intentional with our breath. We're going to inhale into our chest first, feeling the lungs expand, and then feel the belly inflate. And as you exhale, you'll feel the air leave your stomach, and then you'll feel the rib cage drop a little bit as the air leaves the body. And keep that same movement of air coming into the lungs first and then the belly, leaving the belly and then the lungs. Think about all the benefits you're getting from this deep breathing of this fresh oxygen. Regulating our respiratory system in order to calm our nervous system. Increase efficiency and slow our circulatory system. Bring a sense of calmness into the body that aids digestion. The breath is the only thing that continuously works to keep us alive, that we have any control over. And by finding more focus and control over your breath, you can increase your health and well-being from the inside out. Bring yourself into the moment, leaving behind anything that is off of your mat, any of your worries of the day. Any of your preoccupations for the future. Feel the breath. And release the hands down to the legs. And on your next exhale, lower the chin down to the chest. Inhale to slowly start making our circles with our head. Stretching the sides, the back, and the front of the neck. And then switch direction. Taking your time to really be in tune with how your body's feeling right now. And then bring the chin down to the chest. Interlace the hands and place the hands on the back of the head. Allow the arms to grow heavy. Feel the stretch on the back of the neck. Release the head back to neutral and bring the hands to the shoulders. Inhaling as we press the shoulder blades back, encouraging our chest forward, maybe gazing up to the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing the elbows towards each other, tucking the chin down and rounding the back. Inhale to open up. And exhale to close. Continue moving back and forth like this for your seated cat and cow. Not only working the spine in its flexion and extension, but also warming the shoulder muscle. Every time you squeeze the shoulder blades in the back, you're increasing the warmth of the shoulder girdle, getting it ready for the work of today's class. And then come back to center. Begin our circles with our elbows, warming our shoulders a little bit more. Bringing the elbows all the way around in big circles. And then switch direction. Then come back to neutral with the elbows. Inhale as we twist to the left. Exhale as we twist to the right. Using forceful exhales every time you go right. Breathing exclusively through the nose. And going at whatever speed is comfortable for you. Feeling free to increase speed as you start to warm up. And come back to neutral. Bring the hands down behind you, letting the fingertips point toward you. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. a little wider than hip width to start. Inhale to let the knees fall to the left. Exhale, let them fall to the right. Rolling over the sacrum in the back. Just working on the internal and external rotation of the hips. And then come back to center. You're going to bring your feet so they are hip width apart now. That is roughly the space of two fists put together like so, in between your feet. Always good to remind ourselves how wide our hips are. And then what we're going to do with the hands still behind us is lift into reverse tabletop. Now you may only be able to lift the hips up a couple inches, or you may be able to come all the way up to parallel. This is going to be a pretty good stretch on the front of the shoulders, grounding through the heels, and then release down. Release the hands back, and we're going to transfer into tabletop, so you can swing the legs around or roll over the ankles, whatever you like best. The knees will be directly below the hips, wrists below the shoulders. Inhale to look up, let the belly dip down for cow pose. Exhale, tuck the chin and tailbone in, pulling the shoulder blades apart for cat. Inhale back to cow. Exhale to cat. Move through that a few more times on your own. And come back to neutral. Firmly ground the hands, allowing the pointer fingers to point directly forward, letting the rest of your fingers be wide spread apart. Now this is something that one of my students in my other class asked me about. It's something I don't address very often because I don't see it very often, but I have hyperextension in my joints. Some of you may as well, I don't know. Doesn't look like you do, Terry. I don't know if either of you do, but if so, it just means that the arms kind of go a little bit more than straight. Just so you know, the correct placement for joint health in your elbows, which I don't talk about very often, is imagine the crease here in your elbow, and imagine that drawing a line to the opposite corner of your mat. So you want them pointing kind of diagonally forward. With hyperextension like myself, my creases point straight forward, and that isn't really good integrity for the joints. And it is a good reminder that I had. I had to explain it earlier, so I'm just letting you guys know in case that is something that you need to adjust as well. Now curl the toes under and press the hips up and back for down dog, aligning the arms next to the ears and walking your dog once you get there by bending one knee deeply and then the other. Letting the calves stretch along with the hamstring, bringing movement into the feet and ankles. And then come to a still spot in your downward dog. Take a deep inhale and look between the hands and walk the feet up to the top of the mat. Exhale in a standing forward fold. Letting the knees be bent just a little bit here. Letting the head hang and taking hold of opposite elbows. Gently sway the body from side to side and ragdoll. release the hands and inhale as we stand tall, reaching up for upward facing hand pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down, standing forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, a big step back with the left foot, bringing the left knee down. We are going to be here for just a little bit for our warm-up here, so if you need to cushion that back knee, I'll give you a few moments to do so now. We're going to use a few moments anyways to just kind of sink into this, allowing the hips to gently start to stretch that hip flexor. Encouraging the body weight forward. And then using your core or bracing yourself on your front leg, you're going to inhale up into crescent moon lunge. You do have the option, as always, to leave the hands at heart center or on the front leg. Inhale as you reach tall. And then exhale to bring the hands down to either side of the foot. You're going to be on tented fingertips. You also have the option here if you'd like to use blocks on either side of your front foot. You're going to inhale as we look up and reach the chest forward. Exhale as we roll over the heels, coming back, stretching our hamstring. And then continuing with the movement linked with our breath, we're going to inhale forward and exhale back. Just continue that movement. As we do these movements with the stretches, think about bringing your right toes back. It's going to help keep the stretch consistent and get it as deep as you need it to. As we move with the stretch, we're bringing a little extra warmth. If you know anything about muscles, we have always two muscles working together. We lengthen and we shorten. So by moving, we're engaging the legs and helping the hamstring lengthen easier, because every time we pull back, especially with our active toes here, we're shortening our quads and the front of our shins. And it always helps to encourage the opposite muscle to lengthen. Next time you come back, we're going to hold there. Now, along with bringing your toes back, I want you to also think about dragging slightly back with the right hip. Feeling a little tension on the heel as we make that slight dragging motion. And come back to center. Ground the hands and very gently step forward with the left to meet the right. Exhaling into standing forward fold. Notice that you now have one leg that is extremely longer than the other. And inhale all the way up to upward facing hand pose. Exhale, hands at heart center. My brain is mush right now because I'm going to tell you to go into standing upward pose. Which might not be funny to you guys with the amount of times that I've said that. Anyways, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down to standing forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Plant the hands and step back with the right foot. Bringing the right knee down, uncurling the back toes. Taking a few minutes if you need to put cushion under the right knee, or just sink into the stretch a little bit. Not asking too much of our hip flexor before we stretch it. Round through the left foot and lift into crescent lunge. Again, use your appropriate options for your arms. Think about lengthening the rib cage and the spine up, and then sink the shoulders down away from the ears. And bring the hands down to either side of the left foot. You can be on tented fingertips, or you can utilize blocks. Inhale as you reach the chest forward and gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale as you roll over the heel, slowly coming back for this first stretch. And then inhale as you come forward and continue moving between the two on your own breath. Next time you come back, we're going to hold there. Encouraging the left toes back. Encouraging the left hip back. Feeling that slight dragging motion. Increase the stretch. Come forward. Gently plant the hands. And slowly take a big step forward. Using your exhale to lower into standing forward fold. Your legs should feel a little bit more even now. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step back with both feet into plank. Lowering the body all the way down. Inhaling into cobra pose. Gently here as this is our first cobra. And then exhale through tabletop to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. And exhale the right foot to the top of the mat in between the hands. Using your hands to help you get your foot up. Great. That was a really good one. You're getting better at that. Yeah, ground the left heel. And we're going to come into warrior one. Lifting all the way up. Hips are squared in warrior one. So our back toes, our left toes, are pointing up at a diagonal. So to step your left foot out to your left a little bit more and point your toes more toward me. There you go. Now everyone take your hands to your hips and see if your hips are both pointing forward or if you're slightly askew. The thing with our pelvis is it's not meant to line the right up with the left. So when we square off, we often need to adjust our feet as if we're on skis or railroad tracks or however you want to look at it. Because our body just doesn't work the other way. Bring the arms back up. Slowly straighten the front leg. Bring the hands down to airplane arms with the palms facing behind us. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale as we hinge at the hips, coming forward until we feel a nice stretch in the hamstring on the right. And then lower the hands down either to the legs, a block on either side of the foot, or to the ground. This is pyramid pose. Breathing deeply here. And again, we're going to encourage the hips to stay squared. So you may need to draw or think about drawing the right hip back. It may not actually move, but just thinking about it is pretty helpful. Make sure both of your legs are active and tighten the belly as you slowly lift back up, bending the front knee back into warrior one, reaching up high for a brief warrior pose here. Inhale as we lift the arms as high as we can. And then exhale, bring the hands down to frame the right foot and take a big step back into plank, releasing the knees, thighs, and chest down. Inhale into cobra pose. And exhale to downward dog. Inhale the left leg up. And exhale the left foot through to the top of the mat, using your hands to help that foot up if you need. Ground the right heel. And inhale into warrior one. So the left knee is bent right over the ankle. Right leg is nice and strong and straight. Bring your hands to your hips and check to see if you are in line. And reach the arms back up. Pausing here just for a moment, using the strength in our legs. Straighten the front leg. Bring the arms down to airplane arms. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Use the strength of the legs to feel the balance and stretch here. And then lower the hands to pyramid pose, bringing the hands to the legs, to your blocks, or to the floor. Encouraging that left hip to stay back. By keeping the hips squared here, we focus on getting a very centered stretch on the hamstrings. As I've talked about before, there are multiple hamstrings. I believe there's 3. And we want to make sure that we just get the right muscle that we're aiming for here, especially if we did so on the other side. We want to stay balanced. Make sure both legs are nice and tight. Tighten the belly. Slowly lift back up, bending the left knee, finding yourself in a brief warrior one pose. Inhale to reach up high as you can. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Step back into plank. And we're going to hold here. If you need to modify, you can come down with the knees or the elbows or both. We will try for a minute, but I'll let you know when 30 seconds is up. Make sure you're pressing through the shoulders. That's 30 seconds right there. More seconds. 3, 2, 1, and release. Rest your little head. Take a break. shoulders. Press up into tabletop. And then slowly curl the toes under and press into down dog. Inhale to lift the right leg all the way up, opening the hips. Exhale, bring the right foot to the top of the mat. This time preparing for warrior two. So you can plant the left heel parallel to the back of your mat. And then inhale as we reach up and around. Right arm reaching forward, left arm reaching back. Working on opening the hips. Go ahead and check your left arm. Make sure it's straight behind you. Now straighten the right leg. Get some hips.
Yep.
From here, we're going to reach forward. And then tilt the body down to extended triangle pose. The right hand can come to the leg. You can use a block on the inside of your foot, or you can bring it down to the ground if you've got that flexibility level. Left arm reaches straight up, encouraging the left shoulder back. If your shoulders are giving you any issues today, you can always keep your left hand on your hip. Tighten both legs, tighten the core, and slowly glide back up. Bend the right knee for a brief warrior two. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, windmill the arms down to frame the foot. Take a big step forward with the left. Exhale into standing forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to plant the hands and take a big step back with the right foot. Preparing for warrior two, the right foot can be parallel to the back of the mat. Left knee is bent with the knee right over the ankle. And inhale all the way up. Reaching front and back. Left arm forward, right arm back. Knee is pressed out to open hips. Straighten the left leg. We're still reaching front and back here, and we're going to reach forward with the left arm, pulling our body forward, and then relax down. Left hand comes to the leg, the block, or the floor. Right arm reaches up. Encouraging the right shoulder back. Tightening both legs now. Start to glide back up. Take a brief warrior two with the left leg bending again. Big inhale. Now straighten the left leg again. Bring the hands to the hips and pivot the feet so they're facing the side of the row. Toes are slightly pointed in. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades, press the chest forward, look up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, coming forward, lowering the hands down to the center of the ground or on a block. If your hands are comfortable on the ground, you can take this a little deeper by one of two things. You can either turn your hands to point behind you and walk the hands through the legs, or you can take hold of the ankle and pull your body closer towards the floor. Now come back to a neutral position with the hands right at the center. And then walk the hands over to the left foot. If you're using the block, you can bring the block with you. And then walk the hands over to the opposite side now. Return back to center. Tighten the legs up, bring the hands back to the hips, and slowly stand. Pivot the left foot back to the top of your mat, and take a big step forward. All right. Our balance today is going to be Warrior 3. If you need to use anything for balance here, you can go over to the wall or something else that you'd like to balance on. Otherwise, there is an option to just kickstand the foot. So we're going to start with hands at heart center. Grounding down through our left foot. Bring the right foot behind you. Letting the toes keep your balance here for a second. And then start to hinge the body forward. Eventually lifting the right foot off the ground, maybe an inch or two if you're still working on your balance. Or if you've got a little extra balance today, you can bring it up so that your body makes a T shape for Warrior 3. Optional to keep the hands here or reach them out in front of you. And return back. That one is a bit challenging. We don't hold that one very long. Don't worry, we're almost to our cool down. I need it as much as you guys. All right, we're going to ground into our right foot now. Hands come to heart center. Left foot comes back slightly as we prepare for lift off. Slowly start bringing the body down. Lift the back leg, maybe a little bit, or maybe all the way. And release. All right. Come down to our mat. Yeah, we've worked our legs quite a bit, so let's do a modified bridge pose today. Go ahead and grab your block. If you're feeling extra spicy over there on internet land, you can just do this without, but if you are feeling like we're feeling here in the room, you can use your block and modify this. In the lower.
You're honestly feeling.
Me?
I thought it was just me.
Oh no, yeah, me too. But I've also been trying to run and keep up with the dog and, you know, all of the things. Of course, running around the house like a mad woman before I came here didn't help.
Trying to pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, bring the heels in close to the body. Make sure your block is nearby. Inhale as you press through the heels, lifting the hips above the mat. Optionally sliding the block underneath the low back and resting the back onto the block, allowing it to do that wonderful decompression work that it does. Taking your time to make sure that it's right in just the perfect spot. And then allowing the arms to rest by the sides, closing the eyes, and coming back to the breath. Let it fill your lungs. It may not feel like it, but this is a back bending pose. As our arms are behind us slightly. Our chests are open to receive deeper breaths. Take a few more breaths here. And press through the heels, lifting the hips, removing the block from underneath you, lowering the hips down and bringing the knees in for happy baby pose. Taking hold of the legs, the ankles, or the feet, drawing the knees closer to the armpits. Eventually the feet will be over the knees. Encourage the low back down to the ground and gently rock from side to side to massage the low back on the mat. Come back to center, bring the knees into the chest, hugging them in, and then releasing the feet down to the mat. Bring your right ankle over the left knee, allowing the right knee to fall out to the side. If this is a good enough stretch for you tonight, you are welcome to stay here. Otherwise, bring the hands to the back of the left thigh as you lift the left foot off the ground. Optional to interlace the hands, or maybe if you have a little more flexibility, bringing the hands to the front of the left shin. Keeping both feet flexed in this pose, this reclined pigeon pose, will help you to protect your knees. On your next exhale, lift the head and chest up, bringing your body a little closer to that right foot. And release down, bringing both feet down to the mat, allowing the knees to sway from side to side, releasing the tension in the hips or the back. And then come back to center. Bring the left ankle over the right knee. Again, you can stay here if you'd like. Otherwise, left hand comes through the legs, right foot comes off the mat, and you're interlacing the hands, if possible, on the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. Keeping the feet flexed, and gently drawing the legs in towards the body. Next exhale, lift the head and chest up, bringing the body a little closer to the feet. Bring the knees into the chest. And either roll to your side and press up or rock yourself a couple times up to seated. If your hamstrings are tight to where you can't comfortably take hold of your feet, go ahead and grab your strap. We're going to begin by scooting the flesh out from underneath us. And then if you're using your strap, you're just going to wrap it around the bottom of your feet. Otherwise, hands on the feet is fine. And we're going to begin by lengthening the spine, encouraging the backs of our knees down towards the ground. And then exhale as we allow the back to round, letting our eyes close. Feeling the stretch again in our hamstring. Perhaps feeling some release in the lower back as well. And come back up. Bring the soles of the feet together. And let's start with them close into the body. The hands will be on the feet or the ankles, wherever is more comfortable for you. And you're going to inhale as you lengthen the spine up. And then exhale as you fold over the legs, coming down to wherever it's most comfortable for you. If you'd like to wrap your hands around your feet, you can use your thumb right underneath the mound of the big toe, encouraging the feet to open. Maybe even pressing the elbows into the thighs if you're at that flexibility level here. Allowing the stretch to work in the inner thighs, in the hip adductors. We're going to sit up and bring the feet a little further away now. You can do the measurement with the straight arms here for the heels. And then we're going to do pretty much the same stretch. It's a little bit different. And I'm doing both of these. I think this is the first time I've done both with you guys. So I want you to think about what you feel is different as we go into this one. So your hands can start on your ankles. We're going to begin sitting up tall, inhaling, and then exhaling, rounding the back and folding over the legs. Again, your elbows may be pressed into the inner thighs, or you can walk the hands out in front of you. Every body is different, so you may not feel it the same way I do. But for me, the first version, I get more of a hip stretch, more of a leg stretch there. When I move my legs away from the body, I feel it more in my lower back. Yep. I remember the first time doing this one, when I had always done it where my legs were in, because that's what we did in school, the butterfly stretch. And I was like, wow, this is great. Slowly come back up. Reach the right leg straight out in front of you. Bring the left knee up and cross the foot over. Left hand is going to come behind you on the mat. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale to hook the elbow or the hand on the outside of the knee. Inhale to sit tall, reaching the crown of the head up high. And then exhale to twist, pulling the belly in. And every time you inhale here, I want you to release the twist a little bit, allowing your belly to fill with air. And then as you exhale, come back into the deeper twist. Do that about 2 or 3 times, using the inhales to release slightly. On your next inhale, release completely. Move back to center. And switch legs. Left leg comes up straight out. Right foot comes in and crosses over. Right hand behind you on the mat, fingertips pointing behind you. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale the elbow or the hand on the outside of the right leg. Use your inhale to sit tall. And then exhale to twist to look behind you. Again, for the next 2 or 3 breaths, release slightly with the inhale, filling the belly up, and then exhale back into the twist. And release. Uncross the leg, bring both soles of your feet down to the mat. Scoot in forward as we are preparing to lay down. Reach the arms out in front of you. Use your core to slowly lower the back down to the mat. Once your head makes contact with the mat, bring the heels in close to the body. And then lift your legs up to balance your imaginary book on top of your feet. Optional to stay here. Or if you would like to try plow pose, you can bring your hands to your low back, lifting the hips up. Eventually the feet will come overhead. If you're in plow, go ahead and return back to legs straight up. And then everyone can release the feet down to the mat. Take any other small movements that you would like to. Move your hips or your legs. Maybe layer back up with a blanket or sweater. And when you're ready, allow the legs to come down. Let them be slightly away from each other and rolling open naturally. Ground the shoulder blades flat underneath you while your arms are out slightly to the side, with the palms face up. Take a deep breath in as you gather any remaining tensions or stresses from within, and exhale them out away from you. Feel a softness in your brow, releasing the muscles in your face. unclenching the jaw, relaxing the shoulders and arms, and allowing the hips and the legs to feel fully rested. Imagine a warm, glowing light at your heart center. That light is full of all the good things. Love, compassion, patience, and grace. And that light spreads all the way through your body until it spills out, radiating away from you, reaching everyone that you care about. Take a few moments to be completely free and relaxed. Slowly bring your awareness back into the body by wiggling your toes and fingertips. And then reach up overhead, stretching the body from fingertips to toes. And gently bring your knees into the chest, giving them a little squeeze, and then slowly rolling to your side. Take a few moments to just appreciate all of your efforts and accomplishments today. And then press up from the side into a seated position. Inhale to reach all the way up. Exhale, give yourself a hug. The light in me honors and respects the light in you. Thank you so much for being with me here tonight. Namaste.